What up, people? Welcome to another installment of Mike Steph's Wrestlemania Memories. We are currently up to Wrestlemania 17, otherwise known as Wrestlemania X7 for some reason. I guess they was on the extreme kick. Wrestlemania 17, April 1st, 2001. Main event: Stone Cold Steve Austin going for his fourth WWF championship, trying to complete the comeback from his year off due to neck fusion surgery, going against the People's Champ, The Rock, in what was expected to be a face versus face matchup. Adding a little bit of intrigue was this: about a week prior to WrestleMania 17, the Monday Night War was officially over, officially done, officially won by WWF. And you want to know why? People ask why? Well, because WWF bought WCW. Yes, they bought their competition. So that was hovering over this WrestleMania. This WrestleMania was almost like a celebration of sorts of the victory of the Monday Night War. It was actually what I would believe would be the peak of WWF from the period of 1997 to 2001. And everything after WrestleMania 17 started going downhill. This, at the time, was considered to be the best WrestleMania ever. I remember it like it was yesterday, almost, even though it was 24 years ago. You hear helicopters in the background because I'm on a run. No, something must have happened. I think a crash or something happened a couple blocks up. So you got all the news helicopters and so forth trying to get aerial views of whatever happened. I'm really out of the loop. So if you hear the helicopter in the background, don't fret. I'm not doing the OJ. I'm not doing. You know who this is? It's AC, damn it. You know who this is? It's AC. I'm not doing one of those. So, but I digress. This WrestleMania was considered to be one of the best WrestleManias, if not the best WrestleMania up until that time. The card went as follows. The main event: Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock. We had the third installment of the triple threat ladder match which was entitled TLC 2, even though it was the third triple threat ladder match that started the year prior at WrestleMania 2000 with the teams Edge and Christian, the Hardy Boys, and the Dudley Boys. This match included their seconds: Lita with the Hardy Boys, the newly arrived Rhino with Edge and Christian, and the runt of the Dudley litter, Spike Dudley with the Dudley Boys. We had He Who Shall Not Be Named against Kurt Angle, you know, the Crippler. We had a triple threat hardcore match with Kane versus Raven versus the Big Show. We had Chris Jericho, I believe, was he defending or winning? I want to say he was defending the Intercontinental Championship against William Regal. Oh boy, there's a whole bunch. We had China, the ninth one of the world, winning the WWF Women's Championship against Ivory of the Right to Censor, the whole nine. But what this WrestleMania is really remembered for was the heel turn of Stone Cold Steve Austin. Not only the heel turn of Stone Cold Steve Austin, but the unthinkable action in which he took to achieve his goal, which was become the WWF champion once again. The promo video goes down in the annals of time, as one of the greatest, if not greatest promo video. You had Limp Bizkit, My Way. And one of the last words on that promo video was a face-to-face, a head-to-head promo with Stone Cold and The Rock, in which Stone Cold looked The Rock dead in his eyes and said, "I need to beat you more than you'll ever know. I have to beat you, The Rock." Something to that effect. I forgot the exact words, but the intensity in his eyes should have led you believe that, yes, this is the man that will do anything to win this championship, including the unfathomable. And what the unfathomable was? Joining Vince McMahon, accepting the help of Vince McMahon. Right before the main event happened, it was announced that this was a no-holds-barred, no disqualification match. And I remember JR's call, "Who the hell made that happen?" And Paul Heyman, who had just came over to WWF as an announcer during the dying days, or should I say after the death of ECW, was on the call, and he said, "Well, looks like we're gonna have a good one here," and something to that effect. Like I said, this is straight off memory. I made a point not to watch this recently, so I could go straight off memory. One of the other matches before I get into the main event that I almost forgot, was the first encounter between Triple H and The Undertaker. That wasn't a no-holds-barred match. That wasn't a no disqualification match, but they wrestled all throughout the Houston Astrodome. And of course, The Undertaker was victorious. It's very fun. It's real funny that when they faced off WrestleMania 27, WrestleMania 28, it was conveniently forgotten, or conveniently not talked about, ignored, that they had wrestled before on the grand stage. I guess it didn't fit into their narrative. The main event, I remember, I'm looking at this main event and the intensity of this main event, the intensity of Stone Cold. You could tell off the bat, Stone Cold was wrestling as a heel. Like, Stone Cold was never really a face or a heel, as in the way he wrestled. But he went out his way to show the intensity, to show the aggression, to show the desperation in his actions. He was out for blood, and blood he got early. And people still was wondering, why all of a sudden is this a no disqualification match? That seems like it would benefit Stone Cold, right? The Rock was right in the beginning of the phase of where he was phasing out wrestling, going into Hollywood, and this was a home field advantage, a home stadium advantage, a home state advantage for Stone Cold. He's from Texas. It's in Texas. He's trying to complete the comeback story. Everybody know The Rock has got one foot out the door. And this became a bloodbath. And I remember I'm watching it and I'm amazed of, yo, what the hell is going on? Like, The Rock, with his prima donna ass, he didn't gig himself. He didn't get color. He had little tablets. Stone Cold stabbed the shit out of his head like 3-4 times. Every time the blood started drying up, he wanted more. As I take a break for my Starbucks. Now, where was I? The barbaric nature of Stone Cold. He was like a bloodthirsty hyena. And then we fast forward to the end of the match, the climax of the match, if you will, when all of a sudden you see Vince McMahon sawing his ass out to ringside. And we're looking like, okay, why is he coming out to ringside? Now, one of the stupid storylines leading into the match was that Vince McMahon made the wife of Stone Cold Steve Austin, Deborah, the manager of The Rock. And Stone Cold said, listen, anything happens to my wife under your watch, I'm whooping your ass. The Rock, in his condescending manner, said, listen, Stone Cold, I get it, but Deborah ain't my wife, she's yours. Other words, I didn't make this matter, I didn't make this situation, nor do I give a rat's ass about your wife. So when that storyline was dropped a little bit, well, I think the week before the match, you would think Vince McMahon's involvement was null and void. No. So he comes out after he had his street fight. Oh, yeah, that's right. He had a street fight against Shane McMahon for Shane McMahon covering, what the hell? Shane McMahon trying to defend the honor of his mom's, Linda McMahon, with Mick Foley as the special guest referee. So Vince McMahon was still in fighting mode, even though he had his ass whooped. So he comes out to the ringside, and everybody's wondering, why is he there? Who is he there for? Last year, in the main event, he turned to get The Rock. For the last 3+ years, he's been feuding with Stone Cold. So neither one of these individuals want Vince McMahon there. But yet, Vince McMahon seems like he was rooting for Stone Cold. But we're trying to see when the next shoe is going to drop. Oh boy, it did it. It got to a point in the match in which Vince McMahon came into the ring. Matter of fact, Stone Cold called Vince McMahon into the ring. Excuse me. And told him, go get a chair, come in the ring. Vince McMahon said, who, me? He said, yeah, you, get your ass in the ring, now! Vince obliged. He told him to hold The Rock. Or matter of fact, or did he hold The Rock himself? I forgot. Neither here nor there. They combined to give The Rock a chair shot. And everybody's looking, and JR is like, what the hell is going on? What did I just see? And on numerous times, Stone Cold is actually telling Vince McMahon what to do to help him beat The Rock. He took a chair, and when I say the amount of chair shots he gave The Rock to make sure he was in a bloody heap, to finally keep his shoulders down for the 1, 2, 3 to win the WWF Championship. And the pop you heard in the Astrodome was enormous. And then after all was said and done, he shook Vince McMahon's hand. And they left together. Arm in arm, hand in hand, they left together. And JR's call was, God damn it! Stone Cold just sold his soul to the devil himself. I was left scratching my head. Like, wow. That's crazy. Stone Cold not only turned heel, because a couple years prior, before he had to leave for injury, he was leaning that way, but he got injured. Not only did he turn heel, but he joined Vince McMahon as this big truck seems like it's trying to block me, trying to push me over. I don't know what he's trying to do, but it ain't gonna happen. You better go on the other side, boy. When I say I was flabbergasted, now at this time, I was 24 going on 25. My oldest son, Nakai, he was 5 going on 6. My youngest son, Mikey, he was 3. And this 2000 and 2001, I watched every pay-per-view. I ordered every pay-per-view. I taped every pay-per-view. I watched every lick of wrestling that I could. And I made sure that my kids were involved also. But yeah, when WrestleMania 17 went off the air, we had unanswered questions. We had mixed feelings of where's this going to turn? What's next for Stone Cold? What's next for The Rock? What's next for WWF? Because you got this influx of all this WCW talent, or so we thought. But yeah, WrestleMania 17, WrestleMania X7. Whew.
Yeah, it's like,
that was
stick, and all of a sudden I see Kerry.
That was beautiful. It was a beautiful thing. Anyway, until my next installment, WrestleMania 18, or continuing the turn, continuing the theme, WrestleMania X8, we have a return from the past. Some would say an immortal cocksucker. Others would say, matter of fact, a lot of people would say a immortal cocksucker. Yeah, he made his return. And double-crossed The Rock. But not in the way you might think. So with all that being said, I will see y'all on the next edition, on the next installment of Mike Steph's WrestleMania Memories. Goodbye.